And what are you expecting from Newcastle? And have you been able to have a word with Chris Wood, Jonjo Shelvey,
Jonjo, yeah.
get a bit of inside info?
Yeah, but it's of course it's a normal thing to do, but at the same time, all teams look at each other now, and you can get so much footage and analysis and data that you can put extensive plans together on what you think the opponent might be. But at the same time, you got to go and play your own game, and you got to be yourself as well, which is always our main focus. I think Newcastle have been excellent this season. We obviously played them first game, and obviously they beat us there, and they started well, and they've kept that going. Hence the getting to the cup final and positive league position, etc. So so there's obvious qualities and strengths that they have, and a lot of respect for the manager and the coaching team, and it's a game that obviously is going to be a tough one, but they all are, and I could give you that same answer to every single game that we play in the Premier League. So respect the opponent, but focus on ourselves, and we have to, in certain aspects of our game, do a lot better than what we did last week against Spurs. It was clear, that we fell short in certain areas, and that's really where, I'm focused is just being a better version of us in some parts of the game, because the last few games we've not been able to put a whole performance together. We've just had some spells that have cost us, and some spells where we've looked quite good, but that's not enough at this level. We need to be, 100% all the way through. So that's where our work is.
Thanks. Newcastle, do you see them as genuine title contenders in years to come? They're obviously building something.
Well, I think they're a really good team now, and a real tough opponent for our next game. I think that you can see the progress that they've made over the last probably 12 months, and certainly this season. And I guess their intention is to keep growing. So I guess they're better fixed to answer that question than me. But what I do know is that it's going to be a really tough game on the weekend. They have some obvious qualities, very sort of athletic team as well. A lot of running in the team as well as quality, and we've got to be able to match that as a starting point. But we're fully aware of it, and we're clear on what it takes to do well in the game, and we've got to focus on delivering now.
We're talking to Jonjo Shelvey and Jack Colbeck recently, obviously against their old club. They were very much playing down the prospects of getting overexcited when you play your old club. How important is it to have that kind of wisdom in your players, even when they're not necessarily first picked?
Well, I think that should be the case anyway. Particularly when you play for a club like this, and the journey that we're trying to go on or are on. I think you should always have wisdom and motivation to do what's right for yourself, and obviously this club and the group that we are at this moment in time. So I'd like to think that is the case, game in, game out, day in, day out. Obviously, every time you play a different team, there might be a story, such as playing players who have played for the club previously and things like that. So there might be history between two teams. So there's always an extra context to the game. But I think we're really trying to build a way and a culture and a team that can really perform week in, week out in the Premier League. And of course, we're on the journey to try and become that. But to do that, I think you always have to be looking at yourselves and how you are as a group, and what it takes to be in that group, and that's just where we're at. So of course there's some obvious sideshows, if you like, with ex-players and with Jonjo, Woody, and although Woody can't play, and Jack. But I think that them guys, when you say play it down, I don't think they're playing it down. I just think they're really focused on Nottingham Forest and what it takes to do well here. He's had a scan. Obviously, when you have a scan, it tells you something, but also you have to treat the player. So it's unlikely that Brennan will be involved in the weekend, but there's a small chance. So we want to give him every chance to see if he's available. If he is, then great. We'll try and use him. If not, then it's just one of them things. So not completely ruling him out, but at the same time, when you walk off with a bit of a muscle injury, it can take a little bit longer than a week to recover, but we'll see.
Do you still expect him to go off with Wales? And
It's not something I'm not thinking about. To be fair, obviously it's international break after the game or the weekend. We know that lots of players will be going off, but I've not even thought about that, to be honest. We've just got Friday in mind, and like all of the boys, seeing if they're fitting well to go and play.
if you do have to go without him on Friday night, how much of a blow is that, given how he's performed for you?
Yeah, of course, it would be disappointing, but you know, these things do happen. We'd love all of our players to be available and sort of vying for a position to be in the team, but unfortunately on that front it hasn't gone so well the last sort of couple of months. But like I always say, you have to focus on the guys who are available to play, and they're getting maximum attention from myself and the staff, and full support as well.
Do you start to look into injuries, and is it bad luck, or is there something else you can look at?
No, I think you. It depends on the injuries, of course. If you get a lot of sort of muscle injuries, and as opposed to contact injuries, then you know it sometimes can be a clear rationale why you may have an injury list. But we're always looking at things that might have contributed to injuries, and for sure everybody's different, every player is different. It's been a different schedule this year as well with the World Cup, and you know, so it's if there was a clear reason maybe why we picked up some injuries, then obviously we would address it. But and we've gone through that process like every team would do when they pick up injuries, and for us there's too much sort of variety in the types of injuries to sort of bring it back to one thing. So so we're treating everybody different because that's what the injuries are, and I just hopeful of getting a few players back sooner rather than later, and when they do, you know, it'll make us stronger.